r/AskReddit, what highly illegal thing took place at your high school? Spanish teacher got arrested for illegally bringing over a 14-year-old Argentinian girl and keeping her as a sex toy. But since she was here illegally and wouldn't testify against him, she was deported, and he came back to school later in the year. Come to find out, a couple of years later he had molested like half of the girls' volleyball team he was the coach of. Basketball coach was fucking players' parents. When faculty and authorities started looking into the situation, they found that he was also posting in the classified ads as a prostitute. Edit. Also forgot to mention the coach that replaced him was living in one of the basketball team locker rooms for a while. That whole situation didn't make much sense to me. Another edit. A lot of people are asking why it is illegal to fuck a parent. I don't think it is, but the faculty started looking into it after complaints of favoritism towards the children of these parents. Basically, I fuck your mom, you start varsity, and then the prostitution was found quite easily. It was a small town. Child pornography filming. Two underage seniors from my class filmed a full-on porno with some 20-year-old dude. Circulated to like 30 kids in the class and was a huge scandal for the school for a while. One of them was expelled, while the other was just given a suspension cause she otherwise had a clean record and was on one of the sports teams. Not sure if they ever found the dude. Little bit of backstory first. Our school had a big renovation ongoing, and because of that, almost half of the school was closed down. The closed part included the biggest bathrooms, and because of that, the school administration ordered 2 toilet barracks to be placed on the schoolyard. So, some 9th graders decided to buy some toilet pipe opener liquid, I don't know what is the correct term, and aluminium foil. They put the aluminium foil inside some plastic bottles and poured a little pipe opener in them with the foil. As someone has probably done this before, knows what is going to happen next. They stuck 6 bottles total inside the toilet bowls in every stall of one barrack and blew them up due to the chemical reaction between the foil and the opener. All the pipings of the single barrack were destroyed due to water pressure inside the pipes. Turns out that the 2 barracks had connected pipings, and the water that was in the bowls in the other barrack shot up to the ceiling due to pressure. The students never got caught, and if I remember correctly, the incident ended up costing a hefty amount for the school administration. The barracks were taken away and were replaced with new ones. After the incident, every recess there was a teacher in front on the barracks monitoring everyone going in and out. Nothing happened to the new toilets. The cheerleaders got caught selling morphine. The football team got into a brawl with a rival school at a local pizza place over said morphine scandal. A huge fiasco over a kid putting baking soda and vinegar in a test tube and sealing it and taping it under a lunch table till it exploded. Edit. To clarify, the baking soda vinegar incident was completely separate from the morphine and brawl one. Sorry for the confusion. A teacher sexually harassed like 12 students. The issue is everybody loved that guy. He won Best Teacher award like 2 days before his arrest. P.S. No, this isn't Persona 5. This actually did happen. I'm not making a clever joke about Kamoshida, although I probably would have. This was a real guy. One Mr. Chu had a guy selling heroin. After that there was a weekly police presence. Also, a kid bound a girl to a chair, gagged her and stuffed her in a cupboard in the woodworking shop. He claims it was to help her complete the sponsored silence she had been doing that day. A special ed kid got jumped by a dude on his way to school and was beaten bloody. The whole thing was recorded by the guy's girlfriend and her friend. The whole time they were cheering him on, yelling things like world star and so on. She later posted it on Instagram, which pissed off everyone, and just about everyone wanted to beat the dude up in the vid. He was given temporary suspension. Fucking BS. While the police took care of him. From what I know, he was given a assault charge. Also, side note, there was a girl at my school who was in minor league boxing who was ready to beat him up. She even tried looking for him by his house. Edit. For those of you arguing if the boxer world won the fight, can confirm she was a hell of a lot bigger than the guy. In comparison, he was a pretty skinny dude. The cool gang of kids, not me, I've never been anywhere near cool, got into a dare contest which ended up with one of them having to get a pair of knickers from a particular girl. She didn't want to play the game, so he ended up cornering her in a boys' toilet and cutting them off her with a knife. We never saw him at the school again. All games were banned. 6 or so years ago, before jewels were even a concept, a buddy of mine would buy disposable e-cigarettes online in bulk, then sell them to the other students at a huge profit margin. He did this all the way through graduation and never got caught somehow. Dude had to have made at least $10K over time doing that. He was the plug and sold those things like there was no tomorrow. There was also the geometry teacher who got caught sending dick pics to freshmen. I have absolutely no idea how, but he somehow managed to keep his job. Our football coach took off with one of the girls in the high school and moved to Mexico and married her. He had a wife and kids. They then hired a brand new football coach who was 23 years old. Before the end of his first year, he was hooking up with an 18-year-old senior girl. They also took off and went somewhere. We went without a coach for a couple years. Not sure if illegal, but a girl smeared her own shit all over the bathroom walls and mirrors. Could this count as vandalism? There were 4 freshmen in the bathroom stall just vaping, and a teacher came in. So they freaked out and didn't want to get in trouble, so they thought calling the cops on the teacher for harassment would get them out of trouble. They got expelled an hour after the cops arrived. 300 IQ between them, yeah. Probably the pedophilic cult masked as an A/AA group that met in the basement somewhat regularly. Okay, so I'm gonna need more information on this. What the fuck? It was a pretty big group. Can't remember the name though. They marketed themselves as a place for people, especially young people, to go to get clean and be around sobriety. They also enjoyed social engineering the group, particularly in the form of placing young high school girls with far older, predatory men as sponsors. I had 2 friends who were in the group. They made themselves out to be the perfect community, and once that was accomplished, the pairing off happened. The men they were put with told them that they'd get kicked out if they didn't do sexual things with them. There's more to it, I think, but it's been a long time since I've heard the stories. But that's basically the gist of it. Edit. I should also add that the people running the show endorsed under the sponsor knows best guys. Technically not my school, but in the school district right next to mine, a teacher was caught exchanging nudes and kissing an underage student in her classroom after hours. It was mostly kept under wraps until the Daily Mail published an article about it both on their website and on their Snapchat story. The only reason everyone in my school knew about it was because her now ex-husband was the band teacher in my school. They were married and had recently welcomed a young son into the family. I felt incredibly bad for him because now parents were really suspicious of him too, even though he was an incredible teacher and never made anyone feel uncomfortable. It's not his fault he married a woman he didn't know was a pedophile. Thankfully last time I saw him, he was doing great and even looked happier than he had been previously. I only wish the best for that man. This year the fire alarm's gone off twice BC of kids smoking weed in the bathroom. Freshmen vape in plain view of teachers and no one cares. Someone got shot during an after-school drug deal a couple months ago. Edit more. Freshman year my Spanish teacher got arrested for physically stalking a former student who he'd been having sex with since before her 18th birthday. Edit even more. We are supposed to have pep rallies about 8 to 10 times a year. About 9 of the last 12 scheduled pep rallies have been cancelled due to fist fights and credible shooting threats. Edit 3. 2 sophomores died last summer in a drunk driving incident, crashed into a tree at some ridiculous speed. The driver survived, but his passengers queue. Edit 4. My mom got an email from my brother's middle school sometime in January saying some kid got caught with a 6-inch saw blade and a hit list. Super bizarre. My brother hadn't heard about it until my mom showed him the email the next day. Someone in my English class said their brother's name was on the list. Someone in my math class recently snorted 2 Adderalls between classes. I've got tons more of these, but I'm gonna try not to add anything else. See you on a future post when I dredge up more oppressed memories. Where the fuck do you go to school? I interviewed to teach at a high school once. One of the questions from the school board was, can you avoid sleeping with your students? Me, yes I can. School board thinks I'm great. Principal thinks I'm great. Superintendent of schools doesn't think I'm cut out for the job, gives me the runaround. Principal is trying to help me push through it and get hired, but I finally give up and get a normal job elsewhere. Superintendent hires his nephew. Wonder why he gave me the runaround, who promptly has sex with a student and gets fired. I still see the principal occasionally. He always apologizes. I wanted to hire you. He's way too nice to have been stuck at that lousy school. Good to know there are still principals with principles. You have been visited by the scam, and I mean authentic Nigerian prince. You will be blessed with fat stacks, only if you like and subscribe. No scam.